Hello, Toads and Toadettes. Pikmin is one of those franchises that I will always love, and to be honest, it is probably my favorite franchise in gaming. I will always love all the Pikmin games, and that is why when Pikmin 4 was announced, I was going crazy, especially how I literally made a video 2 months, or not even like a month before the announcement came out, just talking about what happened in Pikmin 4. That was crazy, and I've never screamed louder before. So today, I want to take a more in-detail look at why I love Pikmin. First, we have the game's uniqueness. I'll be separating this video into 3 different bullet points, the first one being uniqueness, and then 2 others with semi-points within them. First off, I love Pikmin's wackiness. In most of the games, you're on this random abandoned planet with a bunch of either real-life objects or just weird creatures, which I'll get into more of those later. And you're using these little alien creatures as basically your slaves to do work for you and to help you escape the planet. Overall, most aspects of the games are wacky, and that is absolutely a fantastic thing. At some points, its music can even be wacky, and it ends up still being a bop. Overall, Pikmin's wackiness helps it build its character a lot. Like I was saying, the creatures in the game are also pretty wacky. When you look at it in the sense Pikmin puts it in, where you're these little tiny people on a big planet and everything else is large, and you're going to be forced to appreciate how ugly insects are. There's that one enemy that I'll never forget that always tends to kill like 10 Pikmin that's in the sky and just swoops down and terrorizes your whole entire squad. Honestly, as I'm talking about him, I hear the Pikmin screams. Oh gosh. Let's move on from the creatures. The graphics in these games are beautiful. For every console it has been on, the graphics have been amazing, and especially seeing Pikmin 3 is honestly probably the best looking Wii U game I've seen. And especially it taking place in nature is beautiful. Seeing the large size mushrooms or just large size creatures like I was talking about really makes you just feel like you're just outside and chilling, and how the day cycle works and you see the sunset just really gives you that nature kind of feeling, and it is an amazing feeling. Not only that, but for example in Pikmin 3, you have to find fruits to survive. Fruits, the bigger they are, the more juice you'll get. Each day that goes by, you'll drink a juice. If you run out of juice, well, you can probably guess what happens. And this makes finding fruit so exciting. Like, I don't think I've ever been so excited to find an avocado. This point is also portrayed really well in the other games, like in Pikmin 2, finding real-world objects that you need for cash to pay your president. When you're just looking around and boom, you find a Duracell battery, you just start flipping out. You know you gotta get this thing before the day is over, and that is honestly just something no other game, like I don't think any other game has really made me flip out about finding freaking half a globe. And in Pikmin 1, it's my personal favorite, finding the ship parts. As in Pikmin 1, you have 30 days, which I'll get to this later, or basically Olimar just dies on the planet. And you need to find all 30 of your ship parts, so this makes finding the ship parts really exciting and really rewarding. And each one actually will like show itself on the ship. You'll get access to more areas the more ship parts you have. It makes finding one really exciting. And every time I did find one, even if it wasn't one of the required ship parts you needed, it was just really cool to see its description and the lore behind each part. And overall, the real world nature aspect of the game was nailed perfectly, and it's one of my favorite things about Pikmin. And lastly, for its uniqueness, I want to talk about being abandoned. In each game, you basically are just abandoned on a planet. The first game, Olimar gets hit by a meteor, lands on this planet. Third game, they crash, just basically the same way. Second, you're sent back to get gold. It's basically just a feeling of being abandoned. And basically your only help are these little Pikmin creatures, which we'll talk about later. This really plays into the nature aspect of the game, that you're basically just surviving on anything that you can find in the wild. Overall, being abandoned really gives you also a thirst for info. When you get to a new place, you're not going to know where everything is. So taking some time to kind of learn the area, find where, example, if the ship parts are, and honestly just planning out a strategy for the next day, if you're running out of time, was so much fun. And it makes it one of my favorite strategy games, if you really want to call it that. Next, we're going to get into the big boy, and that is gameplay. Starting off, let's talk about the main group of soldiers, the Pikmin. Each Pikmin has its own role and abilities that help you on your journey. For example, the red Pikmin are resistant to fire, so if you're going into a, let's say, fiery blowhog, you're going to want to take the red Pikmin, as its fire won't affect them. Yellow Pikmin are resistant to electricity, are thrown farther, and can carry bomb rocks. I know it might sound kind of like racism, as they're privileged. They're basically just privileged. Blue Pikmin can just go in water, cool, I know. Purple Pikmin have a lot of strength and can carry very heavy objects, and also pack a punch. White Pikmin basically just have poison. Rock Pikmin, they replaced the purple Pikmin. I mean, that's basically all they did, man. And flying Pikmin, wing Pikmin, pink Pikmin, whatever they were called, can't remember the name, basically can just fly and honestly prove to be one of the most useful Pikmin types. And then the Olimar, oh, okay, wait, we're not gonna get into that topic. But yeah, Pikmin, and using each type, and basically just, since you can only have 100 on a field at once, having to strategize which types you want to bring, as it's not really prominent in the first game as there was only the first 3 types, but later on in the games you really have to strategize which ones you're going to bring. Maybe it's going to be 20 of all 5 types, example in Pikmin 3, that's usually what I would do. And for example, there was this one puzzle in the Forest Navel in Pikmin 1 that I found very clever, as it utilized all 3 red, blue, and yellow Pikmin types, bringing them in the right order. To get there, there was some fire geysers that your red Pikmin could only go through, so it was a lot of timing. And then other stuff, like there was water in a certain area that you needed water, that you needed blue Pikmin for, and then a certain point that only yellow Pikmin could bring stuff down. It was a really clever puzzle, and it really showed how each Pikmin is honestly very useful in this situation. They're also so cute, man. I mean, come on, just look at his face. This one has ears. Next, let's get into the stressful topic. The games don't just throw you in an area that you can explore forever. When you go to an area, the day will start, and the day will go for, I think it's around 10 minutes, not really sure about the time there. But then when it's sunset, you have 10 seconds to gather any Pikmin that are just left standing anywhere, or they will be eaten by the Bulborbs, and you kind of just have to watch, and it stays with you, man. I mean, you just leave one guy behind, and you're traumatized for life. No, I'm so sorry. No. Yeah, but besides the PTSD from the Pikmin that are left behind, there's also the aspect in Pikmin 1, it was very prominent, that you only have 30 days to find all 30 ship parts, at least the mandatory ones. This made planning out your days and not wasting a single one very important and very stressful for some, but that is honestly what makes Pikmin for me. I love when I kill a boss and I gotta get the part to get to the next area and its fruit and the boss itself back to my ship and onions, but not knowing if I have enough time in the day. It's a very stressful thing, but it makes it so exhilarating and so much fun. And how the juice mechanic works in Pikmin 3, where each day you drink a juice, it makes finding fruit very rewarding. But it was very cool as it wasn't the main subject in like the last 2 games, it was just a side subject that you needed to keep you going. Speaking about bosses like earlier, let's talk about the bosses themselves. These bosses are just basically even uglier creatures, like I was saying, the weird earth one that destroys all your Pikmins in one stomp. I remember one time out of my 8 playthroughs of Pikmin 3, I think I lost like all my Pikmin. I was like, no, I'm just closing this game. I'm not saving this. I could not live with 100 Pikmin dead. But yeah, the bosses themselves are really cool, and the Pikmin 3 boss battle theme is so sick and so actually deeply designed, as it ramps up depending on what's happening, if the boss is charging at you or if the boss is vulnerable. Love that aspect of Pikmin 3's boss battles. And I love the race. Even if Pikmin 3's Plasm Wraith was very stressful, having to switch between captains. And I remember when Pikmin 3 Deluxe came out, I was really just, oh, I love Pikmin 3, but oh no, I have to go through this thing again. It's not fun, let's just say that. It's very stressful. I was farting the whole entire time. Okay, let's move on. But sometimes it's not just boss battles. It's pretty unique stuff implemented. Like I was saying, I've been using Pikmin 3 as a big example, as this game has amazing bosses. And the second boss, you have to use your Pikmin around the map to build bridges for your yellow Pikmin to turn the lights on, which makes the boss vulnerable for you can charge, as it's very hard to damage it without the lights on. This made the boss really fun, and love how he went invisible so you couldn't really see in the dark. They used this perfectly. Overall, the bosses in the series are dope. Lastly for this, let's talk about the controls. Having your co-pad on the Wii U gamepad in the OG version of Pikmin 3 was very fun, but when I'm talking about controls, I want to talk about the Wii ports of Pikmin and Pikmin 2. Using motion controls as your little marker to throw your Pikmin, and just everything about its vibrations and the nunchuck, it felt so smooth, and I just love playing Pikmin and Pikmin 2 on Wii rather than GameCube. And it's honestly one of my favorite ports, as it's only a control change, nothing else changed, but the control scheme is so smooth and so sexy. I just love it. Love the Wii remote. For once, I love motion controls. I love aiming the cursor in any of the Pikmin games to throw your Pikmin or call them back, and it kind of feels like you control the cursor more than you do the actual captain. But either way, the controls are also pretty dope. And for the last bullet point, I want to get into the charm. Basically, just everything else that makes Pikmin Pikmin. First off, let's talk about the characters. The different captains, from Olimar to Louie to Alf to Brittany to the GOAT, Charlie. Oh wait, did I forget the president? And Olimar is also just a dope overall main character in the series, and having the change from Olimar just being a character you need to find in the third game, and having those three captains, Alf, Brittany, and Charlie, in Pikmin 3, and in the gameplay being able to switch through them, made for some pretty unique puzzles, and honestly, just pretty good characters and variety. The story in the games, while not being fantastic and anything amazing, as I do think they could be better, are pretty solid. How they used Alf's smartness and geekness to think he's finding Olimar's signal, when it ends up just being another thing that leads you to another signal, and then eventually you actually find someone, but then it's Louie, and then Louie steals your food, but then it leads you to another signal, until you finally find Olimar and have to go through the previously mentioned plasm race. Made for a pretty cool story. And making it for Olimar in his reports sometimes mentions his family in the first game, and how much he misses them can actually make it pretty sentimental at some points. Oh, and the music is so good in Pikmin as well. How could I forget the music? Its quirkiness fits Pikmin just right. And some of these songs are just so relaxing to listen to as well. Tropical Wilds, what do you picture? A tropical kind of song? That's what they did, but using things you wouldn't really picture. I mean, there's just like random animal sounds or really obscure flutes in the music, and I just love the randomness and wackiness to the music in the game. Last but not least is the Pikmin community. Pikmin fans are basically known as like the cultists of any Nintendo community out there, really. We've been waiting 10 years almost for a new Pikmin game, and when it finally happened, everyone was flipping out. I love the Pikmin community, as it's just filled with a bunch of, not to be rude or anything, as I am part of the community, weird people that just love Pikmin. And there you have it, my Toads and Toadettes. That is my in-detailed video about why I love Pikmin. I could not be more excited for Pikmin 4, as I can already feel it is going to be a banger of a game. So why don't I throw out a prediction release date for the game? Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. Well, only time will tell. But if you guys did enjoy this video, I do have other Pikmin content on my channel and Nintendo related content as well. And maybe consider liking and subscribing. They're both free. Share some love to a fellow Pikmin fan. Unless you're a Pikmin hater, but you just decided to watch this video and you're secretly a Pikmin fan. Who really knows your situation? But on that note, guys, I will see you in the next one.